Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Christina, coming to you from the Catio, and I actually have Creamsicle here, kind of hanging out with us today for our convo. But what we're going to actually talk about today is grieving the narcissistic abusive relationship. And just because you were discarded or decided to leave, you still have to face the phases of grieving and mourning the relationship. Um, I personally have went through these phases, and it did take about the 6 month mark for me to fully start to begin to accept um, that I was in what I was in, and going through the process of understanding that I had no control over the situation. Much like we don't when someone passes away out of our lives. But with a narcissist leaving us or discarding us, or us leaving the narcissist, we still have to mourn and grieve that relationship. Because we're not just mourning and grieving the fact that whatever duration of time you're with the narcissist abuser was a lie. You're having to come to acceptance and terms that you might not have been experienced enough, maybe naive a little bit, that you allowed this to happen for the duration of time it did. And you allowed someone to basically destroy you and make you a shell of the person who you once were. So absolutely, you have to grieve and mourn the loss of the relationship, even if you're not truly missing your partner or the person, whether it was a family member, friend, significant other. If you're not missing them, perhaps, and you think, oh, I'm on the road to recovery and I'm healing and this is the best thing ever. Of course, because you've now detached yourself. You're separating that trauma bond. You're breaking it. But you still have to go through all of the stages of grief. And the first thing that I went through was denial. I didn't want to accept what he was. I didn't want to accept that 18 years of my life was a lie, because it wasn't a lie to me. It was real to me. I truly loved him. But to gain the acceptance that that wasn't the case, that it was all fictitious, it was fantasy. It was just I was just a means to an end to him. I did not matter to him. The cats didn't matter to him. Any foundation or love or loyalty that I thought I had didn't exist. Not in his world. But on my end it did. But I had to grieve that. I had to accept that. And it took a while, because for a long time, I'd say the first 2 months, I didn't even want to accept what he was. I didn't want to accept that I've been living in what was basically a lie. So the first stage you have to overcome is denial. Then you're going to move on to anger. And I don't know, this came a little later for me. I actually started with bargaining first, because after the denial, I was bargaining, saying, I'll do anything. Every time I was having a panic attack, I was like, I'll do anything, please. I just want to go home. That's all I kept saying, is I want to go home. And when I say I want to go home, that means I wanted to go home to him. I was bargaining with myself, with a higher power, with anything I could. I was just bargaining with myself, because I didn't want to have that acceptance yet that this relationship was a lie. And of course, the narcissist abuser, they don't care. They've already moved on to the new supply. You're yesterday's news. And I hate to say it so bluntly, but that's the way they view you. So I actually went from denial to more of the bargaining phase. And then you do become angry. That's the third phase or second phase. I mean, I guess to each his own. You don't know how you're going to react emotionally to losing the loss of a narcissistic abusive relationship. I became angry, and I still get angry. There are times you say, well, why? Even if you know that they're a narcissist and that this is what they do, this is how they operate. You can't even begin to really understand, because as an empath, that's not the way our minds work. So all you can do is eventually get enough gumption to get angry. I wasn't allowed to be angry. I had to walk on eggshells for 18 years. So anger or sadness was not a part of what I was able to express on a day-to-day. I had to always hide that and conceal it from the world, from him, because that showed, as he would say, that just shows you're weak. So I learned that you have to control your feelings, control your emotions. You can't be angry. You can't be sad. You can't question the narcissist. You just have to follow in suit with whatever they want. So once you get to the anger phase and you actually are starting to go, wow, I can't believe, like, they did this to me. You begin to really have that emotion invoke and fire from inside you. Like, how could this be? How could I have allowed this? And that's where the anger is coming from, because it's not only what they've done to you, but what you've allowed someone else to do to you. So at least that's where my anger came from. But I did have to go through that to then get to the next phase, which is, depression, the sadness. So many nights I'd cry. So many mornings in the shower I'd cry. Because I'm not just grieving the loss of him, I'm also grieving the loss of, his best friend, who I've also known 18 years, his family, the life that I built, the life that I thought I built with the person who I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. So when you realize that everything was a lie, it meant nothing to them. All the relationships you thought, friendships, extended family that you thought you built doesn't exist anymore. It's going to put you into a depression. And this is why I'm very much an advocate for seeking out a therapist or a mentor who has been down this path, because going through all of this is not an easy journey. And unlike the stages of grief when you actually lose someone, when someone passes away, they're right around the corner. They're just down the street. They're doing exactly what they've done, only with new people. Because you've been discarded, or because you decided to leave, you're left in pieces. You're left sitting there wondering what actually happened. How did I get here? You're going to go through all the emotions. You're going to have to grieve not only the loss of your significant other or family member or coworker or friend, you have to also mourn that life that you had with them. And that involves all the people, the possible flying monkeys you've had to cut off. I know one particular morning I woke up and I had a dream, not about him, but of his best friend, his only friend. And I remember crying that morning in the shower because I had to grieve the loss of him as well as I have been for my ex-narc. And it was just that realization that I'm never going to see him again. I'll never speak to him again. But I've known someone 18 years and they've just been ripped out of your life. Whether they were good to you or not, it doesn't matter. You sell yourself on the notion and the thought that these people are going to be in your life forever. And no one truly is. Yes, we lose people to illness, the aging process, and that, and life. You don't think you're going to lose someone who you love and your entire existence, and yet they're still alive. I don't know what's worse. I've lost both ways, and I have to say this is definitely more tormenting. It's harder to gain and get to the acceptance phase, which is the final step of grieving. And I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I work hard every day to accept what is, that I cannot change the past. I can't change and go back and erase the past 18 years, and I wouldn't want to, because I do feel that regardless of all the heartache I've had and the panic attacks, anxiety, everything lately, at the end of the day, this is part of my purpose. I am here maybe moving forward to start helping people in similar situations. That's why this channel is so important to me, because this is another form of therapy. Only thing is, and the difference is I hope that I'm able to help somebody who hears my story and they might be able to get out of it a little sooner rather than waiting 18 years and being discarded the way I was. So, anyways, guys, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, anything that's going to help push this content out onto YouTube so more people have access and they can be aware of what they are dealing with. And if you don't mind, please drop comments. I'd love to hear how you went through the phases of grief and grieving your narcissistic abusive relationship, and what were some of the steps you took to move forward and come out the other side stronger and thriving. So anyways, guys, until next time, I'm Christina coming to you from the Catio, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.